Greetings, Star Citizens, and welcome to Flight Deck. This is a podcast about Star Citizen and other gamer culture topics. I'm your host, Link Static MDK, and with me as always is Paper Thin.
Hey.
And I took out that weekly part because, let's face it.
Good job.
Yeah. I almost said weekly. I was like, this is a
You've
podcast.
said it so many times. This is,
Yeah.
What are we on here? 44? 43?
I don't know. I don't know until
count.
I save it.
Yeah.
Because then I can look at last week's and see what it was. Anyway. Today's topics we have Around the Verse episode 59, 10 for the Chairman episode 65, the Stoddard Research Center opinion poll, and Community Hub changes. So, not a whole lot, but
no.
Cool. So let's start with Around the Verse episode 59. So Empire Report, we had Long Haul Trader found alive in Bremen 1, which to me means that, there might be rescue missions in the verse. That'd be cool. Well, I think they've said that previously. Yeah. So, cool.
Yep.
We have a woman conned out of a fortune. Apparently she sold her ship after it had some graffiti on it, and turned out later that ship instead had what we would say would be a crap ton of value, given that it was some famous artist or whatever.
Been like the Star Citizen version of Banksy.
Yeah, pretty much. And then Noble 2... Moon Eclipse is coming up, so in the Noble system there's a rare 2 Moon Eclipse. So I wonder if there's going to be like celestial events like that for us to check out.
That'd be sweet. That'd be pretty fun. I mean, there'd be good like social gatherings and, opportunities to kill a bunch of people and steal their shit.
Right, like this week is the 2 Moon Eclipse Festival, and it runs all week long. You can go to Noble system, there'll be all this stuff for it, and then on like Saturday in the middle of the day or something, they'll have the actual event. Just to try and make it fair for everybody.
That'd be pretty fun.
Yep, I don't know. I'm wondering what they plan to do for like whole events and how they'll do that, because obviously like there's certain times that like are better for Americans to be on, certain times better for Germans to be on, so forth. So
yeah, that will be interesting. I guess a lot of it's going to depend on where the servers are located. I mean, I'm assuming they're going to have European servers and American servers.
Well, it's all cloud-based servers, and we're supposed to be able to play with everyone across the entire world. So, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yep. So we got the intro this week. They talked about the social module, which we talked about last week. Pretty cool. Yep. And it sounds like there's more stuff coming out for it, so I look forward to that.
Oh yeah.
Talked about the Nix preview, which we talked about last week as well. There's not a whole lot of new information, although I can't wait to see the actual station and all that.
Right.
Or not, well, it's not really a station, it's like a mining outpost, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
We also have Vanguard variants that they talked about, which we mentioned last week. I think you and I were in agreement that the torpedo one was our favorite.
I know, it looks so good. Yeah. The bomber, yeah.
So, let's jump into Spectrum news, see if there's anything that made me go, ooh. Ooh. So we have the Herald and Reliant are being worked on. Herald's in the gray boxing stage. Reliant is currently in the white boxing stage, I believe.
Yep.
They're adding persistence to the universe. So what does persistence mean? Aside from, getting rejected constantly and coming back for more. So persistence is essentially what you have in a lot of MMOs, where you make a change or you log out and you come back and it'll save whatever you last had. So rather than loading from like a preset file like what we have right now, where you can't really make any changes, I think a lot of you have probably noticed where like you make a change to your loadout or something, but then the next time the game installs it's completely different. You have to redo those changes. That's because there's not persistence, though. They're not downloading anything and uploading anything to the database on the server. You're just have your standard default is what you get.
Yeah, I cannot wait till they fix that, because that's one of my biggest gripes now. Is that every time there's a patch, gotta redo all my freaking settings.
Well, that's because it's all saved locally on your computer, so when you wipe it, it's not there anymore. But
I know I could save the file and blah blah blah, but I keep forgetting.
It's too much hassle. It's less work to actually just make the small changes here or there that you need to do.
Right.
So they're adding persistence. That's going to be pretty big when it's in, but I doubt that will be anytime. That's quite a bit of stuff that goes along with that.
Right.
They're working on the Microtech Crusader and Hurston, so those are different locations within the Stanton system. As I mentioned previously, Stanton's going to be the test bed solar system, or whatever you want to call it, which is pretty cool. Like that's going to be fairly fun when it's all done to run around as a single solar system. The only downside is it's not going to really exist as it is when we're testing it in the universe. So you won't be able to go back and say, "Oh, I remember in beta when I." It's not going to be the same.
Right.
Let's see, what else are they doing? Shared hangar functionality. That's kind of one of their next steps. So inviting other people into your hangar and jumping into Arena Commander with them while you're in your hangar, that type of thing.
Sweet.
Let's see, the UI, Electronic Arts, and Mobiglass Summit is going well, apparently. They're, you know, that we mentioned last week. There's
Yep.
nothing really that exciting
No,
there.
they didn't reveal anything new.
Apparently, they're doing a weapons overview, making sure they're in line with their style guides, etc.
Yeah,
I
they
think
brought in
that's
a new
just a
guy.
yeah, that's just a cult. That's an ongoing process. It's going to be complete.
Right.
Yeah. AI and PU is working on synchronizing the animations, so good. I mean, it's self-explanatory, obviously.
Yep.
Core Engine is working on refining zero-G player movement and grid refactoring. So the zero-G player movement is the more interesting of the two. I mean, they're obviously both necessary, but
Yep.
I think it looks pretty good right now. So I'm interested to see what they change it to be.
Yeah, I thought in the multi-ship demo or multi-crew demo,
Right.
it looked pretty good. I thought so. It's gonna
Yeah.
look even better. Thumbs up.
Better. Yeah. Well, and then we also have the procedural planet generation tech is being worked on. So this, Chris actually talked a little bit about as well. So one thing with all the planets that they want to design is they want it to be something that's built automatically by the system rather than having to have a designer go in and do every little thing. Kind of like Diablo 2, if you remember. Back in the day, it would pre-build the worlds, but obviously at a much grander scale. The difference between this and Diablo 2, though, is once the world is built, it's going to stay that way. It's not going to change over time. Like you won't have all of a sudden a planet or a city moving randomly.
Right.
Every time you come back, it's going to be in the same spot. So
Yep.
that will be really cool if they get it working in such a way that they can build whole systems. Because then, in terms of expansion, oh well, that's super easy then.
Right. They just have to be like, well, here's our base generating form, and then it just randomly outputs some features
Right.
and details. So
Exactly.
that'll be cool.
So like, I mean, at that point, it's just, oh, when we want to come out with something new, we know we need to have these couple of key things, but rather than spend years building every small detail of the planet, we just press a button and there you go.
Right. Exactly. And as someone who's a huge fan of roguelikes, this is awesome. Like, I can't wait for this kind of stuff. I mean, it's just going to be so interesting and varied and
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then we also have they're working on having atmosphere and hull breaches, so actually adding atmosphere to a ship so that when the hull is breached, it vents and like let's say you have no longer breathable atmosphere, you can black out and all that stuff.
Yep.
That's pretty sweet.
That is nice.
And they're also working on their hacking prototype, so it's not going to be like that hacker man from that what was that YouTube
What?
movie that came out recently? It was really
Oh
bad,
my
like
god.
80s action.
Kung Fury.
Kung Fury, thank you. Yeah, it's not going to be like Hacker Man from that, where you can hack away bullets and hack somebody back to life and all that stuff. But
Oh, ridiculous.
that said, you should still be able to like power down enemy systems, open doors, that type of thing.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, I want there to be a place for it. I just don't want it to be stupid easy. Is the only thing,
Yeah, it
That's
has to
my
be
one
challenging.
concern.
Yeah.
So.
Otherwise, it'd be really overpowered.
Oh yeah. It's like, oh, we're going to have the best hacker come with us, and all of a sudden he shut down all the Bengal systems in like a minute.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Let's see. They also did an interview with Todd Pappy, who's their design director. I didn't really like. It was okay, but I didn't really think there was a lot of new, cool information that came from this interview.
Yeah, there was nothing super new.
It's like he talked about his previous experiences and working on getting all the various parts merged and stuff that should be together. They're trying to put together like the looting cargo and grabby hands should all be one thing combined. So.
Yep.
Let's see. Also, social module behind the scenes. They had a lot of the people talking about what they worked on. I, you know,
Yeah.
eh. Same thing as the Todd Pappy. It was interesting to see all these various people working on it that you don't necessarily see all the time, but there wasn't anything that made me go, "Oh wow, that's so cool! I can't wait to talk about it."
Yeah,
So
there
yeah,
was the one Easter egg that they mentioned. That was the only thing that I was kind of interested by,
with
like in
the
the medical.
skeleton or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't really consider that an Easter egg. It's like very obvious that that's his
I
skeleton
didn't,
X-ray.
I didn't even look at it, so I didn't know what it
Uh,
was.
like I remember walking around the medical bay and being, "Oh, cool! They have a skeleton X-ray." Yeah, I didn't think anything of it.
But isn't it like? But there's something about it that's like special, I guess, or
I
something.
think
I
it's
don't
one of
know.
the designer's actual skeletons. They said and that
Oh,
was the Easter egg part. I don't remember
oh,
exactly, but I think that's
okay.
what he said.
Oh,
Yay.
well, that's not as exciting then.
Yeah, whatever. And then ship shape, they talked about white boxing and all the steps that go along with white boxing, which they've mentioned previously, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, this wasn't the first time we've gone over it.
Yeah. Then MVP for this week was Elton Gradish, who has a thread with all various icons that you can use for the forum or other locations, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
I do like when the MVP is like somebody who's done community content of some vein or another that they've made available to everybody. That's
Yep.
usually really good.
Yeah, and this was definitely one of those, and it was well done.
And there's only so many times they can give it to people like Years 100 or
Right.
people like that. It's like, yeah, we know you're coming out with something awesome all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Then their art sneak peek was a female character model plus clothing. I don't know exactly what the art sneak peek was. Honestly, I was at a loss.
I I was just like, okay, cool, more character modeling. Like,
That's the thing. Like, I don't really care about the character modeling until I can do it myself with like their preset stuff. Like, I wonder how they're going to do it if it's going to be because I think they said there was like 8 types of human male, 8 types of human female for the body types,
right,
and they're all largely the same skeletal structure. And then you make certain changes, like this one's fatter, this one's skinnier, that type of thing. So
right, right.
I don't know. I want to see what the actual character customization is going to be like, what the decal customization you can do, armor customizations, all that. Because let's face it, once people get badass looking armor, you're never going to see faces anymore.
Yeah, there's no point. Like, I'm just gonna be wearing my armor the vast majority of the time.
Yeah. I know in like WoW, they did it so that you could hide your helmet so that
Right.
people could see your face. And I know a lot of people did that because some of the helmets were just ridiculous looking.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's one of those things where it's like, or maybe I'm thinking of something else. It might not. I don't know.
Well, I know you could hide some stuff in WoW and other MMOs, so
Yeah, they often
uh,
do like the hide the face stuff so that you can
yeah,
actually see what's going on.
yeah. You really can't do that in Star Citizen because of, I mean, because the helmet's actually going to be modeled and protecting
Right.
you, so you need it.
Yep.
Kind of
So
important.
I fully expect to be like walking into a room and seeing nothing but stormtroopers and Boba Fett's everywhere and never seeing
Oh my
faces.
god. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's the way it is. It's like your life is going to be like that of a stormtrooper. Everybody you walk across is going to have a helmet. There
I'll
should
be
be
a,
some. I know there's like a detriment with the whole vision that they've talked about before, too. So
yeah. It'll be a
there's
lot
that.
easier to shoot people then. You won't see their faces.
You're talking about the psychological
Yeah.
aspects. I gotcha.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. I'm fine with faces or not. Too much Call of Duty has desensitized me to
Right.
violence. And usually the thing about Call of Duty is you're actually happy when you shoot them in the face because that's a headshot. You're like,
Exactly.
yes,
I'm the best.
I'm the best. Yeah. So anything from around the verse you wanted to touch on other than what I?
No, it was
Yeah.
kind of
It was a
it's kind of blah.
lackluster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Ben
Hopefully,
had a few good jokes, but other than that,
Ben's jokes are never what I would classify as good. They,
well, although at the end he got Sandy pretty good.
yeah.
He's
Shoot.
like, "And where's the art sneak peek?" And she like starts looking for it. She's like,
He's
"Wait
like,
a minute."
what? He's like, wait a minute. What are you talking about? Yeah.
That was good, but that's about it.
Let's see. So let's jump into 10 for the Chairman, episode 65. 65.
55.
55. So he had a pretty cool set, 3D printed game set or whatever from his friend that he was showing off. That looks pretty sweet, actually. It
That did
reminded
look
me,
cool.
it reminded me of like that Hero Quest game that you and I
Mm,
played once,
yeah.
and I used to play with my family. And then also, it was like Dragon something. There were those little miniature model sets that you could use. There were
Oh, what was that? Yeah.
adventures and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, those I miss those board game days, man. Those were
Those were
fun.
sweet. Those were sweet.
Yeah. Let's see. We have question number one this week was multi-crew ship tech. So it was revolving around, okay, is there anything specific for multi-crew that we won't have for single crew and blah blah blah. Really, I mean they've talked about the control aspect, but I did like the way this question was going where can
Yeah.
you have people in your ship even though it's a single ship? And
Right.
the answer is yes if it's got an open back. If it's like a Hornet or something where it's only got the one seat, then not really.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, if you have an Aurora, somebody can lie down in the bed that's in the back of it while you're flying it, and
Well,
you can
they've
maybe
got
jam
the
some people in the cargo.
yeah cargo. Well, and then Chris was like, well, once we get the whole environment system, though, it might be an issue with like it might not be able to support that many people and so forth too. So
Right. Because it won't have the enough oxygen or whatever. But yeah, actually, I thought this was a really interesting question.
yeah, like how many people can you fit? How long? So
Yeah, because people are gonna clown car it. Like they're
oh
just
yeah,
gonna jam as many people as they can in.
I'm already surprised there's not like a couple of videos out there. There might be, and I just haven't seen them. But of like people filling up a 300i and like flying around with like 16 people in one ship.
I think I've watched people try, and it's usually failure. So,
Well, I tried it with my brother, but this was like several patches ago,
yeah.
because he has a 325A, and he took off, and I went out the back. It's like, and I died instantly too, by the way. Like,
Nice.
and he wasn't even going fast; he was going like fairly slow, and
Right.
like all of a sudden, my character model just starts sliding backwards, and then falls through and out the back.
And you're dead.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Good.
Let's see. Procedurally generated content. We already talked about that a little bit for the
Yeah.
Rumverse, so there you go.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It sounds pretty cool, and I can't wait to see it implemented.
Does sound cool.
Social community. So what are there? For this, he talked about there's going to be additional things that you can do. Obviously, one of the things mentioned that bars aren't going to be just bars. They're going to be places where you can get missions and like find out information, that type of thing. So that's
Right.
pretty cool. I I want there to be more places than just bars, though, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine there will be. It sounds like at the very least they're planning on like back alley dudes that you
Right.
can like talk to, and there'll probably be other crap. You could probably go like into Art Corp and like go into some businessman's office and have a private meeting, maybe. I don't know.
Right, and like rec centers and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Play some hoverball. I don't know.
Right, get in the sauna with some fat naked dude.
Awesome, hot.
I know.
Can't wait for that. Um, let's see. Next question was about warning NPCs of an attack. So let's say you know about an organization that's going to come and attack them. Can't really do that, but chances are if they're holding a base, they already have their defenses set up. So, kind of
Yeah.
pointless. That
Yeah.
said, I was thinking you could warn other PCs about other PCs attacking them for like a small fee and that type of thing too. So,
Yeah, for sure. I
Or-
mean, yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like it didn't make a lot of sense with NPCs. It's like, how are you gonna warn them? Like that's not an easy thing to program. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
It didn't make a lot of. I don't know where he was going with it, but you're right. For PCs, it makes a lot of sense.
Well, like I'm thinking you could do like as well. About a C group that's going to be attacking someplace. Obviously, they're not going to be at their home base. You
Right.
could tell another PC group about that and go attack their home base while they're all off gallivanting and attacking some poor NPCs. They
Yeah, you
come
see-
back and
you
there's
see a
nothing
lot of
there
that
for
in-
them.
Yeah, you see a lot of that in EVE Online already.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, that'd be good.
Let's see. There's also the differences between missiles and torpedoes, which you and I had talked about. There's not really a clearly defined what's better. But he said it's essentially the differences between payload and turn radius and speed was the three factors. So that makes sense.
That's kind of what we predicted would be the case, but it's good to
Yeah.
have clarification on it.
Yeah. Based retaliator size. So for this one,
I just kind of like
glossed over.
I did like my
Yeah,
eyes glossed over this question. I was like,
Yeah.
Really?
Honestly, it was not that important.
no.
Bots and gold sellers, how are they going to eliminate those? So for bots, they'll try and keep an eye on it with metrics, etc. For gold sellers, they're never going to really be able to stop that. That said, they'll let you buy UEC or whatever monetary system they're going with at the time from them directly. So there's really little point behind bots unless they can sell it for you cheaper.
Right.
I
Yeah, I
don't know.
mean, you could still farm and sell it, I guess, and
Yeah.
make some real world money, but it's not gonna make you a lot of money.
On the one hand, I'm happy about this, and on the other hand, I'm not. Like,
Okay.
I don't want it to be a pay to win game.
Right.
But that said, there's already people that bought Idrises and Javelin, so you know, it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to pay a lot of money for this game, that's fine. But keep in mind that pretty much LTI, for most of those ships is going to be done here pretty soon,
Yeah,
and you're going to have to spend a lot of money if you lose your Idris to frickin' refit it, and even if you have LTI, so there'll be some time sink necessary, and yeah, you can just pay for part of it, but they're going to limit how much you can buy each day, so I
yeah.
doubt it'll be nearly enough to re-outfit, your Idris.
Well, and that's the thing is like he said you can like earn money doing missions too. So I
Right.
think the way I'll use it, if I use it at all, will be I don't have time this week to do these missions to pay my crew or whatever for what I want to be doing or to buy X attachment. Then I'll spend money.
Right. Right.
The every now and then $10 to $20. Who cares?
Yep.
But
Well, and I mean, yeah, I mean, it's kind of supported the game too. You're playing it for free after you buy your
yeah,
initial package. So, I don't mind spending a little money here and there, just like I do with Hearthstone. It's a free to play game, but
yeah,
I've spent some money on it, buying
yep,
packs and stuff. So,
yep. I don't know. It's the nature of the beast.
right,
It's yeah.
right.
I,
It's a necessary evil.
Yeah, and you're never gonna have somebody like unless they're super rich. You're never gonna have somebody who's got like everything possible anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see, players per server. Oh, I'm sorry. Design and technical issues. That's the next question. So design and technical issues. This has been addressed like weekly for the last 3 months, right?
Oh, I know. I just,
so
I literally like put my head on my desk during this question and just like shook my head.
So, I mean, one of the things was about this question is, are you designing your ships a certain way because there are technical issues having it this way? Like, is that why your Retaliator has a turret over here and turret over there instead of multiple crew stations like you see? Like,
Yeah.
The Constellation has all that right in the central area, but it's a different ship and a different type. So,
Right, right. And I mean, yeah, Chris kind of poo-pooed this. He's like, no,
no, that's
not
got nothing to
really.
do with it.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Bengal carrier? I mean, there's like 90 crew stations on that bridge. It's
Right?
ridiculous. So,
Insane.
yeah.
And awesome.
Let's see, players per server. I don't know where he got that 1,000
I
player
have
per
no idea where
server.
he got that number. The highest
Like,
I have ever heard them theorizing is 200.
yeah. Well, I think that would be crazy even
Yeah.
because what's the crew of an Idris they said was about 12, right?
Yeah, something
So
like that.
that's an Idris. A Javelin I think was like 24 or 32 somewhere in there.
Right.
So then if you have 3 Javelins, you've pretty much almost hit the crew cap that they're
Right.
talking about.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know. That's good. Like at that stage, I'm wondering how that's actually going to work. Where you get that many people all working at the same time. That doesn't seem like something feasible.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. Right now, what they said they can do 25 people in the social module and 16 in Arena Commander, pretty successfully. So, and that's before they're doing even more major optimizations.
Well, I think what they were hoping for FPS was 32, or it's 16 on 16 was the
Yeah,
max. So
yeah, that's for
that
FPS.
yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, I'd be happy with 50. I'd be really happy with 100. Like really happy.
Well, with 100, then you can actually have fleet battles. 'Cause then
Exactly.
you've got, let's say, 2 Javelin destroyers versus each other and a bunch of fighter escorts and smaller ships. That
Right.
would be quite a big fleet.
And I'm gonna
It's
put
not
my
like EVE Online, but
right. Well, yeah, Eve is so much different though. But I'll put my Swami hat on and say, I think we'll have 100 in the future, but probably not right away when the game releases.
Yeah. Well, and eventually there'll be upgrades to servers and upgrades
Yeah,
to client
everything.
computers as well. So,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So in the future, the technology will be able to, actually maintain these fleet battles and that kind of thing, which I know Chris wants to do, and he will not rest until it happens.
well, like, so let's say when the game starts, you'll have 100 people, and they'll meet that 100 people goal, right?
That'd be pretty amazing, yeah.
So let's say that, and then like 10 years later, assuming the game's still around, I wonder what they'd actually be able to host at that point. Like, you might have that 1,000 person cap that
That would
this
be
guy's talking about.
so fun. Can you imagine the furballs?
Ah, it'd be like the Battle of Endor everywhere you
I
go.
know, I know.
That'd be sweet.
Hold on. I need some alone time.
And pausing, pausing, putting myself on mute, and going away. Yeah, God.
uh, anyway,
Pipeline for landing zones. I didn't care
they
about this question
they're
either.
working on environmental pipelines.
Yeah.
They don't actually do landing zone pipelines per se. They're doing like entire environments at a time, not just landing zones. I mean, I think this person just got a little confused because of the social module release. Like, this is just a test bed for certain things. This isn't how the persistent universe is actually going to function.
So
Exactly.
the way I took this question was, are we going to have like multiple landing zones that you can visit per planet? And yeah, you'll have that. Or is it multiple landing pads per landing zone? I don't know.
I I wasn't exactly sure. I thought they were more looking for like progress updates on landing zones, and I think Chris was kind of like, well, that's not really what we do. You
Right.
know, it's just because we have the ArcCorp stuff here as a quote unquote landing zone. That's not really what we're gonna roll things out as.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain because it was kind of a weird question.
Whatever.
Anyway, but not a
So,
bad question actually.
so if you could ask a 10 for the chairman question, what would your question be?
Oh God, how do you pronounce John?
There you go. Or Xian.
No, I think
It should be
I mean
Jean.
it's not really my thing is I don't really have a question so much as a suggestion. Like, I would like to see the ability to like tinker with my ship loadouts and that kind of thing on the website. Like, we talked about this a long time ago, and I
Yeah.
posted on the forums, and I would really, really like to be able to do that.
Yeah, I
And I
remember it
understand,
also not gain any traction on the
yeah,
forums.
literally zero. Which I thought would be super convenient. I mean, like, you're on the way home, you're on your phone, you're like, all right, we got a op coming up tonight with our group, and I need to be outfitted for my bomber role tonight, so I'm gonna
I
put
know
my
it takes
torpedoes
20
on.
minutes to load these, that type of thing, yeah.
Right, exactly. And I don't see any reason why you couldn't do that. It's just like, you just tell your NPCs to do it, basically, right?
Right.
So anyway, yeah, I don't have a
So
question. I have a suggestion,
they've
which I could turn
previously
into a question.
mentioned, though, that they don't want you impacting the galaxy when you're not logged in.
But is that really impacting the galaxy? Just outfitting stuff that's in your hangar?
If it saves you time, I would say you could argue it. Like the lawyer in me would say, "Oh, well, it's
I
technically
don't.
impacting because then when you finally log in, you'll be able to go right away instead of having to wait for your ship to be outfitted."
Yeah, I totally get that. But at the
So,
same time, I feel like this is one of those few instances where, you know, breaking the realism type stuff a little
yeah,
bit
I know.
is maybe better, but that's just me. Anyway, what would your question be?
What would my question be?
Yeah,
Let's see. Could
put you on the
we
spot.
get? Well, that's what I did with you, so it's only fair. I would say, could we get some sort of artificial intelligence race intermixed? Like, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, you remember that show from the '90s, Space Above and Beyond,
Oh yeah, uh-huh.
where you got the humans and then you got the Chigs where they're bad guys, and they were at war. But then the humans also had these artificial robot people. I forget what the fuck they were
I
called.
don't
I haven't
remember
seen
what they
that show
called
in a
them
while.
either. Yeah.
But they had those artificial robot people that were kind of allied with the Chigs because they hate the humans as well.
Yep.
And like that totally makes sense. Like by this point, we would have some sort of like droids or
Yep.
robots or something. And why wouldn't there be like some military style towards that as well. So that's just me. I don't think
Yeah.
they'd do it because that would involve so much stuff, but
Yeah.
who
No,
knows?
I think that would be cool. I think that's a good question. I'd like to
Yeah.
see it in there.
Well, or maybe we'll come across a race with an expansion that's like all artificial,
Yeah, maybe.
or like Borg-esque. That would be free.
Mm, that'd be fun.
Even though the Borgs are technically cyborgs, but whatever. I wonder if that's how they came up with the name Borg. I've never really thought about that.
I'm pretty sure that's yeah. I was
They
actually just
just
about to say,
removed the psi from.
get out of my brain.
Damn. I don't know. Like that would be my question: is just what plans are there for artificial intelligence and that type of thing?
Yeah.
Not like, not like AI for controlling NPCs, but like AI as a race or character or class or whatever.
Sure,
So.
as like actual NPCs themselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Because let's face it, droids are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
Like,
I
what's the best part of Star Trek? Data. What's the best part? Or yeah.
yeah, that's the best part of Star Wars, arguably R2D2.
R2D2. Yeah, yeah. Not the prequel R2D2, but
Ugh,
yeah.
we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that R2D2, even though it's technically canon and all the other R2D2.
I know.
Yeah.
We can't talk about IG-88 because he's not
He-
canon either.
No, he was in Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, he was. You're right. I forgot.
Boom. Knowledge.
That's right. That is
Yeah.
true. I forgot he is on the
You-
Executor.
You still got Busk. You still
Yeah.
got Dengar.
Still
You
got
still got
Dengar.
IG.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
they laughed at me at Bounty Hunter School when I decided to go with a toilet theme, but who's laughing now? Oh, man. I don't know. So then we have the Stoddard Research Center opinion poll. Did you take the poll?
Mm-hmm.
I took it too. I found out that my opinion is way different from most people for like most of the questions.
About half I was like in the majority, and the other half I was not. I was in like the minority.
There were only two questions where I feel like I was the same, where it was like, how do you feel about the state of the economy was one where it's recovering, but it could be doing better.
Yeah.
That I was in the majority, and then like a couple of the other questions, I was like, oh wow, I am not in the majority at all for most of this stuff.
I was all like, yeah, more military spending. The
Oh
Vandal
no,
are a threat.
I did. Nah, we're fine with military spending. Where we could cut some things. That's
Although,
the one I did.
I was in on the one where civilians need and citizens need to be more involved in defense of the empire.
See, and I did the military should be the only people doing that, and then I also did the for the military spending. I said, oh, we can cut them. Are the John a big threat? And I was like, nah, they're not. They're a threat, but they're not a big threat. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, I wonder what they're doing with this though. Like, what
are they going to like?
Yeah.
It would be cool if like that affects the actual like what they go with for the Polo Initiative, like the results.
That would be really
'Cause
interesting.
if you recall the last Polo Initiative, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to take this to the citizens to vote on." Right. So now we've got a poll.
And now we can vote on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Ooh. Well, I voted against it. I am
Um,
against the Polo Initiative.
I was for it.
Oh, them's
Oh.
fighting words.
Oh man, let's
Throw
let's
down.
go. Let's go to town.
Your opinion is invalid.
Aw.
But yeah,
It's
no,
okay.
that's like I realized it because we talked about it on our last podcast,
Right.
that Polo Initiative, and I just voted for it because I'm like, yeah, this is kind of how I feel based on other lore posts that I've read. But yeah, that's probably what they're gonna do. It's probably gonna actually affect.
You voted for the Polo Initiative or against the Polo Initiative?
So the Polo Initiative is
that's
to
the one
reduce
where they-
military
yeah.
spending, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, I voted against it.
Okay, then I voted for it. I was just confused by what you were just saying on which way you voted. So
Yeah, it is a little confusing. It's initiative against something, so those
See,
are always kind of weird.
the like character wise, I voted against it because my character is an anarchist and I want there to be a civil war. So if you have less military, there's more chance of rebellion, etc.
Ah,
So that's why I voted that way.
gotcha.
Player wise, like as myself, I would go with more military spending because guns are awesome.
Because
But-
guns are cool.
Yeah, like fictional laser beams are awesome. I mean, I want more of them. But like that's where I was trying to play it as like how I would want it in the universe for what I want to happen.
Okay.
Polo
that makes
Initiative is
sense.
great if it passes because then these terrible things will happen because of it. So
See, and I haven't quite decided what I want to be like in the in the game once it comes out. So I just went with, what I feel like personally.
See, I want less military spending so that either the Vandal invade or become more of a problem, or so that I can start a rebellion and have that become more of a problem.
Well, there
And
you go.
then once that occurs, then the military spending would go back up. But by that point, shit's hit the fan, and
Right.
so that was my motivation for voting the way I did.
All right. All right. I like it. I can respect that.
Yeah, yeah.
You're wrong, but I can
Yeah,
respect it.
whatever. Yeah. There'll be a civil war if I have to do it by myself. It'll still happen. It'll really just turn into everybody hating me equally, and I'll be like, damn it. Now I've got nowhere to go. Time to suicide myself 20 times till my character resets, and I leave it all to somebody with a clean slate.
There you go. No one will know the difference.
So, other than that, we also have some community hub changes, which have been postponed. I haven't seen them in place yet. The last couple times I visited the site, unless I'm missing them somehow.
They were there, yes, last night.
The big thing that people have been talking about that I heard about though was that only valid backer accounts will be able to post to the forums. And I was like, thank God, finally,
yay!
Get rid of all those idiots.
For real,
like
that was a really good change.
Yeah, I'm like, if you've spent money on the game, yeah, you should be able to post in their forums.
Yep.
If you haven't spent money on the game, post wherever else you want. That's a free forum.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can still read the forums, so
yeah,
they'll get all your information.
Get your jollies off. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So it should be good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, do you have any Star Citizen stuff you want to talk about?
No, I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
We had a short week this week, which was...
Well, that's because we just did a show on Saturday.
Yeah.
Or Friday. When did we do our... I don't know.
I don't know.
It was the 5th?
Saturday?
When was the 5th?
Oh, Saturday?
What day is it?
Sunday?
What year is it?
Yeah, what year
is it? Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday.
Okay.
All right. Oh, wow. Yeah. Watch any good animes?
So I finished that one Magical Girl anime.
Oh, God.
Yuki Yuna.
As soon as you say Magical Girl, I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, this one, it was good until the ending, and then it had an absolutely atrocious ending.
I hate those.
So it was just like,
they go off the wall for like 2 episodes or whatever at the end. I always hate those.
It wasn't even, it was just the last episode. I mean, it was, like, the whole premise is that it's kind of like, Madoka Magica, where being the magical girls has its price. Like, right. Every time they, like, use their magical girl powers, they lose certain things like their eyesight or their sense of taste, or a limb goes completely useless, that kind of thing.
Right.
So it was like really cool and kind of interesting that they're weighing using their magical girl powers versus not, and it had kind of a cool universe. And then the ending was just all happy, everything's great, blah blah. It's like you can't have like things be really like melancholy and bittersweet throughout the whole thing, and then just have like a super happy ending. That doesn't fit. It doesn't fit the narrative that you had established. So it was, it's bad.
Well, that's the thing. Like with the longer running animes, I've noticed they do the same thing, but instead of it being one episode, they do like an entire arc. That's like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, for example, that everybody knows, Dragon Ball Z. Like, Dragon Ball Z should have ended with the Cell Saga, because up to that point, it was the story of Gohan.
Right.
Right? And then they did the Buu Saga, and then it became the story of Goku again.
Exactly.
And then Buu Saga sucks. I know a lot of people are like, Buu Saga's the best, and I'm like, yeah.
Wrong with those people.
Same thing with Bleach. I know you don't care, and spoiler for everybody who hasn't watched Bleach and is going to. So like, they do the full thing with Bleach where like, he gains his powers, he goes through all these problems, he has a big fight with the Big Bad, who is kind of controlling everything, and to defeat him, he has to essentially give up all his powers. And he does that, and there you go. And then they have another arc afterwards where he gets his powers back. It's like, come on! It's such a good point to end. Like, you right. End with Cell being defeated, Goku dying, and now, Gohan's the protector of Earth. You end with Ichigo Kurosaki losing his powers, but doing so defeats the big bad guy. Done. Good. Great.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. We're all happy. Yep.
Yeah.
You gotta milk it for more money, dog. You gotta
Yeah.
milk it for more money.
Well, and Bleach is still ongoing
Yes, it
with
is.
another arc after that arc right now, and it's like, come on.
That's so insane.
Yeah, but like, and then Claymore did that kind of too when it came out for its last two episodes because they went off manga because the
Oh yeah.
manga was still ongoing at that time.
Yep, I remember that. Yep. Claymore's ending is weird.
Yeah, that's because it's completely made up by the studio creating it instead of going by the manga, which honestly, the end of that whole arc was pretty badass because you thought everybody was dead.
Yep.
Because everybody, quote unquote, dies. And then,
Right.
they skip ahead for 7 years later and all this stuff's going on. Or I forget how many years, but that type of thing.
Yep, nope, exactly. Yeah, it's really strange how anime gets made in Japan. I mean, so many get made before the manga's done. Like, I understand stuff like Fairy Tail in
Right.
One Piece, where it's going on anyway in Bleach, so you might as well just keep
Never gonna
rolling with
end.
it,
Yeah.
right? But like stuff like Claymore, yeah, it's like, well, they made an anime, it was gonna keep going. They could have waited a couple years. Nobody's gonna like, if anything, you're gonna make more money if you wait because you're gonna do it right.
Well, yeah,
You know what I mean?
they could have finished season one the way they did, and then started up season two, and they would
Yeah.
be able to finish season two. Like, there's enough material after that in the manga that happens. They could have gotten a second season out of it, and they would be
Oh
able
yeah.
to finish it. And there you go, done.
Right, exactly. And I mean, it's really there's other animes that this has happened with where they make them and then they just like stop. Like what is that? I've never seen it, but Spice and Wolf. Like
Yeah, I've
everybody's
heard of
like
that.
dying for like a season 3 of that because the manga's, been going on and like it's been, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 years since the last season of it or something.
Right. And then you have conversely like Hajime no Ippo, where they've made like they continue to make a new series
Yeah.
every couple of years or so.
Yeah,
That
it
goes
just
for
keeps
like a
going.
while. Well, the
Yeah,
freaking manga is still going.
I know.
It's like, are you kidding me? It's still going. He's still
Well,
boxing.
yeah, I mean, Hajime no Ippo is still going, Berserk's still going, that manga is still going, and that's been going for fucking 30
Well,
some odd
so
years.
the thing that kills me about Berserk was like they did the episodes, like the 26 episodes, which were fantastic.
Yeah,
And then they did those three movies as well. But the three movies essentially are the 26 episodes with like some stuff cut out. They added in the skull guy whose name I forget.
yeah,
Um, you know, and stuff like that that wasn't in the original manga. But for the most part, the three movies is the exact same story timeline as the 26 episodes. It's
yeah.
kind of a
I
waste.
didn't get that. Yeah, I mean, like if you're gonna do the movies, do the other stuff. And I mean, that being
Right.
said, from what I understand, the stuff that takes place after the 26 episodes is
Weird.
fucked up.
It's
It's
weird.
fucked up. Like that's
Yeah.
I haven't read it because I'm Berserk. I'm waiting for it to be done, and then I'm probably just gonna sit down and like read the whole thing.
Oh man, you're gonna be like 50.
I know. Okay.
uh,
Hopefully, I make it that
the
long.
final chapter of Berserk comes out, and you're like, finally, I can read this.
Finally, yay! Let me
And then
get my walker.
you get like three at 50. Wow, you're gonna be in worse shape. You know. Um, you're gonna be like reading it right after, and you're gonna be reading the chapters. You're like, I waited 20 years for this.
Right.
What the fuck
Well,
is
my
this?
problem is like I forget stuff. So like there was a new
Right.
chapter of Syokute New Saga that came out.
And you forgot what was going
and
on
I had
before
forgotten what
that.
had happened before that. I know I had to go back and read the previous one because I'm like, what the fuck happened? Why are we
Yeah.
here? Why is this happening? Oh
And then you're like,
right,
oh right, yeah, now I remember.
yeah. So yeah, that's why I have to like. I really prefer to just like
Well, this is
yeah,
why I've been so hesitant because like there's a lot of manga I read like that one, Tsukote and New Saga or however you pronounce it,
yeah,
where like I'm like, oh, Paper would enjoy this, but then like I don't want to introduce you to it because you'll be in the same boat I'm at, or I've got like 40 manga that I'm currently reading, but like I have to wait for each new chapter to come out, and then it's like, oh, what was going? Oh yeah, now I remember what was going on. You know?
yeah. I can't deal with that.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Well, it's like once you get to that stage, though, it's literally you just read it the day it comes out, and you're like, oh, okay, good. You know, it's a lot easier to maintain than when you first start reading them. There's like 40 chapters ahead, and you're trying to like read through the whole thing.
Oh right, right, right. Nah, I'd prefer to just wait for him to be done and just do them all in one go for the most part. I mean, stuff like Syokute and New Saga, like it's actually like good enough that I'm reading it as it goes, but
Right.
for the most part, I don't like to do that.
Yeah.
But
There's
yeah,
a couple that have been made into anime that are out right now, like Overlord. I actually
Yes,
read
I
the
need to see that.
manga first, and then I saw they made the anime, and then the anime actually got beyond where I was in the manga, and I was like, holy crap.
Nice.
But it's only 10 episodes in because the manga's not very long, at least what
Oh,
I've seen. So,
gotcha. I gotta check that one out. That's on my list.
um, that
Uh,
Raka we talked about,
oh, Roka. Yeah.
Roka, whatever.
Six Braves or whatever the hell.
Yeah, that one. I think I figured out who done it. But I'm doing
We'll
my
see.
best not to read the manga or anything like that because I don't want to get ahead. I want to try and stay with the anime because that's why I read, or that's why I was introduced to first.
Right.
Usually, if I get the manga first, then I'm fine with you know, keep on reading the manga. But like if I watch the anime first, I don't want to get spoiled on it,
Yep.
so I try and
Yep.
avoid them then.
I totally get that. Yeah. I just rarely go back and read the mangas after I've watched the anime. I'm like, good enough.
There's some changes, but there's very little point usually. Like
Right.
the difference between certain mangas and the anime is so slight that you're like, I don't really notice any change. Like every now and then there'll be an anime that comes out well after I saw the manga, and I'll be like, wow, they actually included quite a bit, and I'm
Yeah.
quite impressed by the way they go.
Yeah. Which is fine. I think that's good. I think that's generally the better way to do it. I think animes turn out a lot better when they do that. Except for Full Metal Alchemist. It's the only one
You
I
like the
don't
yeah?
like.
You
Yeah,
didn't
I
like
like the
Brotherhood.
original.
You liked the original. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot better.
I
But
didn't really like either one, honestly. Like
it's fine.
usually I'm into those weird fighting power animes, but I never really enjoyed Full Metal Alchemist as much as I do other ones.
That's it. That's fair. I mean, it's not quite the same as the others. I mean, the fighting's very sparse in that.
Right.
It's more about the world than it is
Well,
about the fighting.
I would say I enjoyed like the fighting was the best part of the anime, but I didn't really enjoy the world
There you go.
because I'm not like yeah, I like action, I like fighting, I like all that stuff. But like if you have a good story, I'll overlook all that stuff, especially if the action like when it happens is very good. I never felt like the Full Metal Alchemist action was very good. Like it felt like it was okay. Like
Yep.
if I compared it to Sorry no Morbito, that
Yeah.
spear one, there's only like 5 action scenes in that entire anime, but they're really, really good when they
Right.
have them. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I can totally see that. I mean, yeah, I don't think the action scenes in Full Metal Alchemist are generally great. There are a few that were okay, and Brotherhood did them a little better.
right?
But I feel like that's one where. Well, did you ever see the movie that's the follow up to the original, Conquerors of Shambhala?
Yep.
Okay, I thought
Where
that had
he's
some good
like in
action.
World War II
Yeah,
and he finds the circle and he completes it, and then his brother is like got his body back and all
yeah.
that. Yeah,
I thought that one had some good action in it, like
that
compared to
that wasn't the movie wasn't bad. I'll say
yeah. I like the movie a lot.
the movie I liked a lot more than I liked the series, but that might have been a pacing thing.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, I get
It's
that.
like the new Dragon Ball Super. Have you been watching that?
No, I haven't watched any of it yet.
I
But I
can't
will.
stand it.
It's just super slow again.
It's
Are
just
they
so
just?
bad. I'm used to the movies, the movies which have a faster pace, and
Yep.
then also Team Four Star, which is a much faster pace. And I'm used to
Right.
that now. And like I forget how awful the pacing is in Dragon Ball until Dragon Ball Super came out, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like fucking pulling teeth.
Yeah,
It's taking so long for them to do anything. It's so annoying.
and to like add insult to injury, it's the Japanese voice actors who I frankly cannot stand, especially Goku. Makes me want to rip my
The old
like what.
lady who plays
Oh
Goku.
my god, I know. Like it makes me want to rip what little hair I have left out. Like, like it's. Oh my
She's
god,
always like,
that's a pretty good imitation. Actually,
yeah,
it's so bad. It's just like, oh my good lord, just give
yeah.
me whoever the American voice
Sean
actor is.
Schammel.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Well, he
Uh,
does. I wonder if that's like biased because that's what you were exposed to first, though.
it could be.
I don't know, because like I was exposed to Trigun with the animated dub version, and I have the same issue with Trigun's voice actors that I do. But like Naruto, I was first exposed to as Japanese, and I can't stand the same thing with Bleach. I can't stand the American dubbed versions. Like
Ah,
they just sound wrong to me.
yeah, that's true. I mean, I think you're right. A lot of it does have to do with what you're exposed to first. But I can think of some where I like both. Like Full Metal Alchemist, I like both. Um, yeah, there's probably others. but
There's probably
actually, like the Kill la Kill ones are pretty good. Even though I do prefer the Japanese, but the English ones are actually
Cowboy
pretty good.
Bebop, Japanese.
Cowboy
Or
Bebop, the Japanese is good, but the Americans are
what you were
the
exposed to
English.
first. Yeah.
Yes, but that being said, Shinichiro Watanabe does consider the English dub to be superior.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
he's come out
surprising.
and said that. Yeah.
Well, if the creator says that your talent sucks, then it's okay.
But well, it's because like it's not a Japanese show in a lot of ways. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it makes more sense for it to have English voice acting in a way. It just feels more Western than Asian.
Well, like certain things are Asian about that show
Oh
for
yeah,
certain, but the scope, I would say, feels more Western for
yeah,
like the story and the plot elements.
yeah, exactly.
It's tough to like because you can definitely see aspects of both inside of it. So
Yeah, it's such a blending of cultures that it's really hard to lock it down in what its style is,
right,
But it makes
that's
a lot
one
of
thing.
sense.
Bringing it back to Star Citizen,
Yeah,
that's one thing I would like to see actually a lot of, and they've talked about this a bit, is the stylized of each of the systems being very different. But
yeah,
we have so many different cultures just on one planet now. I don't want every planet that they have to be like, oh, this is the planet where gray people have gray houses and tan. Like hell, I live near Chicago. I can walk like 20 feet in any direction. There'll be something completely different, for
right,
me to look at. So
right. Yeah, I mean, each planet should have its own feel, just like each major city has its own feel. You know what I
right,
mean? Like I go to New York City, feels very different than Chicago. Feels very
right,
different than Seoul, Korea.
yeah.
Feels very different than the Twin Cities.
And that's what I'm
All of them
kind of
feel
hoping
different.
for. Like every
Yeah.
planet to have every landing zone on every planet to have a different feel to it. And yeah, there can be some elements that are the same, but
Right. Right. I think
and that
I think that's good. Yeah.
that's where I feel like Star Wars doesn't get enough credit
Mm,
because every place you went in Star Wars had a different feel.
yeah.
That said, like a bar in Coruscant looks the same every place you go in Coruscant,
Right.
and places in Tatooine. I mean, that's the one downside is like he had planets that were literally it's an all desert planet, it's an all snow planet, it's an all
Yeah.
what
It
it's
was.
an all city planet, that type of crap. It's all forest moon.
Yeah. Well, it was extremely diverse. It was very. Each planet was very uniform for the
Niche,
most part.
yeah, exactly.
There were a
So like
few that weren't, but
in terms of like a locale and each locale having a different feel, I think Star Wars does it really good. Like you
yes.
go to like the original Star Trek, for example. How many red skied dirt planets did they visit with random shaped rocks everywhere? And it's like, wait a minute, weren't we here like a week ago,
Yeah.
Captain?
Yeah, Captain. Are we going in circles?
Oh, this red sky has a slightly different tint to it from the last planet we visited with a red sky backdrop.
Quiet,
You know,
Chekhov. The women here want to sleep with me.
that was the same at the last planet as well, sir. These ones have antenna. Oh, okay. The last ones had tails. Now it's completely different. But you know what I mean. It's like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
so. I don't want it to turn into that. That said, that would be hilarious.
I imagine there's
uh,
going to be a fair amount of Star Trek references splattered about now that I think about it in this
there's got to
game.
be like there's going to be Babylon 5. There's going to be Stargate.
Yeah,
There's going to be Star Trek. There's going to be Star Wars. There's going to be they'll have
yeah,
everything.
yeah. Better be some Cowboy Bebop references. I'm shaking my fist angrily right now.
That one's not got as much of a chance because not as many people are fans of it. That said, of the sci-fi enemy that's out there, that has a better chance than most to have some sort of reference somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, other than Cowboy Bebop, I mean, you're only talking about Gundam,
Yeah,
maybe
Gundam,
the space battleship Yamato. Uh,
Legend of the Galactic Heroes, maybe.
that one's even more underground.
Yeah.
That's starting to pick up traction recently, just because like the frickin' laser discs made it out to YouTube and everybody like was like, "Wow, this show is amazing! What the fuck? Like, where did this come from?"
Uh.
I'm trying to think if there's any other like major sci-fi series. There's got to be something we're missing, but
There's like Neon Genesis.
oh
If you
yeah,
include, if you go that route, like any of the giant mecha robot.
and then you're talking a
Yeah,
whole
that
bunch of
alone. It's
stuff.
like the Mick Whopper of Japanese animation. You like that?
Nice, well done.
Yeah.
Way to make a pop culture reference there on top of it.
Boom.
High five.
Done. I'm
Nice.
dropping my metaphorical mic and walking off stage.
You have a literal mic you could drop, but that would kind of
Yeah, that would
be
make
annoying
weird
to the
noise. Yeah,
podcast. Yeah.
it would really. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
not as good.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to all that. Oh my god! Speaking of Babylon 5, I'm almost done. I'm in season 5, and I hate season 5. Wow, do I hate season 5? Season
Really?
5 is so well. At least the first half. So I just
Well,
got
they have that.
through
Yeah, that's true. They do
all
have
the
the giant space
fucking
battle at the end that makes it worth it, though.
yes.
Spoiler.
But
Sorry.
yeah,
People that have never
well,
seen Babylon
it's
5.
Babylon 5.
Sorry.
There's giant space battles all over the place. No, but like, because there's like, so yeah, Babylon 5 spoilers. That first half of season 5 is just them dealing with those rogue telepaths, and it's so fucking boring and stupid, and I could give zero fucks about any of it.
Is that the one where like Garibaldi's captured for like half the frickin' season?
Well, no, that's season 4.
Okay, I was thinking the wrong.
So season 5, he comes back, but Bester had programmed him to like betray Sheridan.
Right.
And some other people and all that crap, and so
Yeah.
I like Bester. I actually really like that character, but like, there's all these rogue telepaths that I just don't give any fucks about.
Yeah, nobody cares about
and they
them.
all die,
Yeah.
and I like actually was kind of like good.
Like, yay,
we can move on.
They're dead. Yeah. Well, are you gonna watch the mini series after that? The Excalibur or whatever
Crusade.
it was? Crusade, yeah.
Yeah, I've actually not seen all of Crusade.
I
so,
have. Unfortunately, It ends at a cock blocky stage.
Oh God.
Like Reboot and all those
Oh
others.
no.
Well, no, not like Reboot. Actually, Reboot stuff happened. Crusade, just all of a sudden there's the last episode, and you're like expecting there to be more.
Huh. I know there is. So I didn't know about this until recently. There was 2 episodes that were made like independently by Michael J. Straczynski, if that's how you pronounce his name.
Right.
And Bruce Boxleitner's in it, and I think the guy who plays Garibaldi's in it too. But they're just like 2 episodes of just them like on Earth dealing with politics and stuff, I guess.
That I did not know. I don't think I've
Yeah,
seen that.
and it was made like, I don't know, like 10 years ago.
Huh.
So, because they were trying to like see if they could get traction to like start making the series again.
Dude, they haven't even been able to get traction for like a Star Trek series since Voyager ended, or not
That's
Voyager, Enterprise.
Yeah. Well, the hell, the Enterprise. Oh, so bad.
I know Michael
So
Dorn's trying to get
bad.
like a Worf show.
Yeah, I heard. I just can't see that being good. Again, that's like I
Well-
like Worf kind of.
As a character.
Yeah, but like a show like revolving around him as like a captain, it's gonna be terrible.
Well,
I'm
like,
sorry.
from the pitch I listened to him do is he wanted to do like a Worf who's kind of disenfranchised with Starfleet,
Okay.
and that would be kind of like the way he'd be going about it is like Captain Worf, but Worf is kind of like fuck Starfleet and its regulations and maybe going out on his own. So,
Oh. Huh. Well,
I
that
don't
might
know.
not be so bad actually. I could actually get behind that.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I'd like to see what happens after Voyager returns. They've got all this ridiculous advanced weaponry tech and all that knowledge that they gained from the Delta Quadrant. Like, what happens to the Federation after that?
Oh yeah, the Federation's gonna like become the power.
You'd think, right?
Yeah.
But and they disabled in the last episode of Voyager. Spoilers. They disabled like a major Borg transwarp hub, so it's not like the Borg can even attack the Federation easily anymore as well.
Right.
So it's kind of like, well, the main threat of the Star Trek universe is the Borg, and that's kind of dealt with. And Voyager comes back with all this advanced weaponry and armor and all this stuff, and it's kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that would be really interesting. Actually, I would like that, and I would also like another Star Trek series that kind of did what Next Generation did, and sort of explores like philosophical and that kind of stuff as well. Like that's what I really liked about Next Generation was it really balanced kind of the action and kind of cool stuff with like really interesting episodes that made you kind of question like, oh yeah, in the future we're really gonna have to deal with this kind of crap.
So I would say speaking along those lines, I would say my favorite episode of The Next Generation would be The Drumhead, where they have the mock trial and all that stuff. And Picard has some very good speeches that he gives in that one. But I've
Yeah.
heard a lot of people, their favorite episode is Inner Light, which is the one where Picard is transported to an alien world from a probe beam in his
Yes.
head. He's living out his full life as
Yes.
though he's a member of that society, and it's only like 20 minutes in the real world. And that one, I think, won an Emmy
Yes.
for something.
That's an excellent episode. Is that the one where he like learns to play that flute type
Yep.
instrument? Yep,
Yeah.
that one is my favorite. Yep. Yep.
That flute, I think went for like a ridiculous sum of money, and Patrick Stewart was laughing and he's like, "It's made of wood." Like somebody bought it in auction for like some stupid sum of money, and he heard about it. He's just like, "It's made of wood, really? It doesn't even play anything."
Nice.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, that would be like what I'd like to see Star Trek kind of get back to, but
well, it's not going to happen, not with
Nope.
today's modern climate. And Gene
Yeah.
Roddenberry being dead, he doesn't have the, his
Yeah.
kids don't have the same pull he had. And even I don't think there's as much interest in Star Trek as there used to be,
No.
except for in movies.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's kind of a dead franchise at this point.
Well, we don't really have any good sci-fi TV shows anymore. Like, can
No.
you name a good sci-fi TV show that
Rick
we have?
and Morty.
Well, not cartoons. Keep summer safe.
Show me what you
You
got.
got. Yeah, but I mean, there's no Star Trek. There's no Babylon 5. There's no any of that. We've got cartoons like Star Wars Rebels, and we've got Rick and Morty.
A lot of people liked The Fringe when that was on. I never watched it.
I never watched it either.
There's some new stuff coming out on the Sci-Fi Channel that maybe might not suck.
There's Doctor Who.
Oh God, Doctor Who. Yeah,
I've never liked it. I tried.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. I don't know.
I don't know. I like British TV, and I don't think I can get into it. I've watched a couple episodes, and
like there's certain shows on British TV that I think are phenomenal, like Sherlock. But like,
yeah, oh God, Sherlock.
I can't stand Doctor Who at all. I don't know what it is.
Oh my God, I still haven't watched season 3 of Sherlock. I'm such a failure as a human being.
I'm not gonna say anything then.
Yeah, I gotta watch that. Holy shit!
Mouth
I'm gonna borrow your
shut.
Netflix. I need your Netflix.
I don't think it's on Netflix.
Oh, they took it off?
Well, I don't think season 3 is on Netflix.
No, fuck. I'll have to find it online.
I can check, but it'll make noise, so I'm gonna do it later.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, you're not borrowing my Netflix. That's unethical. I would never allow someone to use my Netflix without permission. That's that's terrible. Who would do such a thing? I will let you watch my Netflix with me present as I log into your...
You're such an honorable, law-abiding citizen.
That's why I am using this voice now to state these facts. I am not lying. This is the truth. Yeah. So
nice. Okay.
I'll give you it later. What?
Cool. Anyway. Well, I think that's all I got this week, man. We had a pretty good talk. We went all over the place.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we need more Star Citizen content, and then we'll talk more about Star Citizen. That's the way it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. All right, well, that is it for today. I was going to say this week's, but I had to stop myself, because I always say this week's episode. But, I don't know if we're going to be back next week. If it's going to be 2 weeks again, I don't know.
We'll see. So, who knows?
That is it for today's episode of The Flight Deck. We will catch you guys... Dang, I usually say next week. Yeah.
When we get to it. Yeah, we're going to have to really work on your outro here.
I got nothing, man. I always say the same thing, and it's usually, I say week twice in the outro, but now, we're not sure if we're on a weekly schedule with what's going on, so.
All right, we'll work on it.
All right. We'll see you guys next time on The Flight Deck.
Peace.